What about this section? So I will move the section. Please recognize the organ. This section is taken from the which organ? What we have? So we have what? The sunflower, which is a central vein, and the row of the hepatocyte. Let's do on the high magnification. So here, this is a central vein. These are the row of the hepatocyte. And this space is what? Is a sinusoidal capillary. So the section is what? Is taken from the liver. But be careful. All the section is not what? It's not the normal one. What we have? There is a large amount of what? Dark purple coloration. And there's also what? There's a large number of the free RBC. The free RBC, which are distributed throughout the liver parenchyma. Let's see the high power. What's happening? Here is what? Separation, parallel exudate. Why? Because we have a large number of the dark, irregular basophilic cell. Okay. What else? Take a look for this. There is a large number of the free RBC. The RBC which is found outside the blood vessel. In the pathology, when you found the free RBC, it's called by what? It's called by the hemorrhage. What else? Take a look for the liver here. The liver actually is undergo coagulative necrosis. So let's to be taken in the high power. Okay. Now, these are the suppurative inflammation, suppurative exudate. Now, these are what? Dark, irregular basophilic cell, which is accumulation of the pus material. But what about these hepatocyte? This hepatocyte is undergo coagulative necrosis. It's undergo necrosis. Why? Because we have a dark eosinophilic cytoplasm with a small, dark, round pyknotic nucleus, which is what? Which is a necrosis. Okay, what about here? These are the free RBC, which are distributed throughout the liver parenchyma. Hemorrhage. Now we have the hemorrhage, the necrosis, and also what here? The suppurative inflammation. All of these problem or the abnormality, hemorrhage, necrosis, even the sloughing, is caused by what? This is due to the migration of the special type of the parasite. Now this is a parasite which is found inside the liver parenchyma. Take a look for the parasite. They have a prickle, spine. Through this prickle or the spine is due to the damage of the liver parenchyma. Why we have a necrosis or hemorrhage? Due to what? Because when this parasite migrates through the liver parenchyma by this prickle or spine is due to what? The damage, the hemorrhage, the necrosis. This special type of the parasite is what? Is an immature liver fluke. Immature. This is what? It is an immature liver fluke. Be careful. Immature liver fluke is found where? It's found inside the liver parenchyma. Bo. چون خوی با موسیقی با حالش لنو لیور پرنکایما منتون نبستم به هیپاتوسایت ساینوسوید سنتراله. ولی دوایی با maturation چه با که؟ Yes. We'll go to the bowel duct for what? For the maturation. The lesion mostly found in the liver parenchyma does not found in the intrahepatic biliary system. Now intrahepatic biliary system here. In the liver parenchyma. Oh. Even in this power, I can recognize these suppurative, sloughing necrosis, and also we have a hemorrhage. Take a look for this hemorrhage. There's a huge hemorrhage, which is found throughout the liver parenchyma. We have a hemorrhage. We have a purulent exudate. We have a necrosis. Let's do it in 5. Yes. According to the size, it is purulent. Now, we have a hemorrhage, necrosis, and suppurative inflammation. Okay, you have a hemorrhage, pus material. There is a immature liver fluke inside the liver parenchyma. What about your diagnosis? Should I say what? Should I say hepatitis, or cholangitis, or cholangiohepatitis? And which one? Acute or chronic? Excellent. Hepatitis. Okay. Which type? Acute hepatitis or chronic? Take a look for the type of the cell. What we have? Excellent. So we have an acute hepatitis. Acute hepatitis. The acute hepatitis, which is caused by what? Fasciola hepatica. Be careful. لسستني طلبة كان دوشد إضافة به do diagnosis معناها lesion diagnosis and disease diagnosis. Lesion diagnosis كشيء is a acute hepatitis. Acute hepatitis. A disease diagnosis كشيء or etiological diagnosis. عليه acute fasciolasis. يعني fasciolasis. عشان it's called by the acute fasciolasis. Why? Because all of these lesions is occurred due to the migration of the liver fluid. Okay. What we have also. First of all, let's to recognize the organ. It's taken from the liver, from the intrahepatic, from extra, from the gallbladder. Okay. What about the organ? كان سكشن شو the liver. أجر central vein كش لناسمه شيء ناسمه hepatocyte. The role of the hepatocyte. which one hepatocyte كان وك خش. خش تسودا بتشوفه كان يد بدواية. So we have a core, the trabeculae, and also we have what the bricks of the hepatocyte. So what happened in this section? Actually, when we are searching throughout the liver section, what we have, there's no any damage inside the liver parenchyma. There's no damage in the hepatocyte. So let's take a look. The damage is found here in the bile duct. Take a look for the bile duct. This is a bile duct. And normally bile duct bamgorea, thus we have such a size of the bile duct? Of course not. This is a portal area. It should be contained branch of the portal vein, hepatic artery, and bile duct. So what about this structure? There is a papillae or finger-like projection, which are protruded into the lumen of the portal area. There is a protrusion or projection, look like a finger. What about this? This is a hyperplasia of the bile duct. There is a bile duct hyperplasia. Why the bile duct is undergo hyperplasia? It should be have what? There is a chronic irritation. There is a persistence of the microbiological agent. What about the structure? This is a mature liver fluke. A mature liver fluke, which is found inside the portal area. So, this is a mature liver fluke, which is found inside the bile duct. This liver fluke is due to the irritation of what? Of the bile duct. This irritation, just only for the adaptation and also decreasing the amount of the lesion or abnormality, what we have, there is a hyperplasia or the proliferation of what? Of the bile duct. Kata lere chi man haya? Lere pili biliary hyperplasia. What's called? Biliary hyperplasia. What does mean by the biliary hyperplasia? The biliary, it means the bile duct. The hyperplasia, it means there is a proliferation of what? Of the bile duct. What else? Aya. And liver fluka. Tenha hyperplasia? Of course not. Take a look for this. What we have? There's what? There is a fibrosis surrounding the portal area. Deposition of the collagen fiber surrounding the biliary hyperplasia and the portal area. This is called by the peribiliary fibrosis. Peribiliary fibrosis. Peri, it means the surrounding. Biliary bile duct. deposition collagen fiber بچه‌ها دوی که بال دکتکم. What else? Let's just see in the high power. Take a look. Okay, this is a hyperplasia. There is a formation of the finger-like or papillae, which is a bile bacterium. These are the chronic inflammatory cell, and this is a fibrosis. Okay, for more clarification, let's just see. Oh, okay, it's good. Now, this is a biliary hyperplasia. What we have here? Neutrophil. We have a macrophage, the fibroblast, the lymphocyte. So this is a chronic inflammatory cell. This is also the macrophage. Take a look for this brilliant macrophage. And also what we have, there is a fibrosis. Now, this is a hyperplasia, and this is a fibrosis. Now, what about your diagnosis? When you have a thickening, the hyperplasia of the bile duct. Why? Because there is a presence of what? Of the mature liver fluid. What about your diagnosis? There's a chronic inflammatory cell and also the fibrosis. But if you go to the liver, what we have? There's no any fibrosis. There's no any inflammatory cell inside the liver parenchyma. Now, should I say acute or chronic? Cholangiohepatitis, hepatitis or cholangitis? Excellent. Chronic cholangitis. This is what? It is a lesion diagnosis. Lesion diagnosis, disease diagnosis. The lesion diagnosis is called by what? It's called by the chronic cholangitis. What about the disease diagnosis, Elaine? Chronic fasciolasis. Chronic fasciolasis. Okay. So the slide is so simple. Now, what about the organ? Sunflower. Sunflower. So central vein and the role of the hepatocyte. Now, what about this area and that area? This is a central vein. This is a one lobe, and this is the other lobe. At the edge, the surface, this is a portal area. Now, let's to check this section in the high power. This is a liver parenchyma, and this is a portal area. We have a liver parenchyma and a portal area. Okay, what we have here? This is a liver parenchyma. Who can describe for me this lesion? What we have? This is a central vein, hepatocyte, and these are the sinusoidal capillary. What happened? What about this? Another cheek. Inflammatory cell. There is an infiltration of the inflammatory cell inside the central vein and also inside what? The sinusoidal capillary. You know sinusoidal capillary, Basha. The type of the inflammatory cell is acute or chronic. This is in the high power. One power is what we Helan and the chronica. So where is the fibrosis? In chronic inflammation, deposition of the collagen fiber, fibroplasia, or just called by the fibrosis. Where is the fibrosis in this section? So what about here? In sinusoid, what we have also, there is a dilation of the sinusoid. Why? Because we have a congestion or engorgement of the sinusoid. Let's move to the portal area. I'm saying a portal area. This is a portal area. Okay. What we have inside the portal area? What we have? Just for reminding, this is a branch of the hepatic artery. Branch of the hepatic artery, the branch of the portal vein. So there is an infiltration of what? Inflammatory cell plus fibrosis. So this section is what? It's a chronic inflammation. But what about the diagnosis? Should I say what? Also, inside the liver parenchyma, we have an infiltration of what? of the chronic inflammatory cell لناو ساينسويدا كانيش chronic inflammatory cell here كاتمنا توانم لdiagnosis بلانشي. There is a chronic inflammatory cell inside the liver parenchyma and also inside the portal area, plus the fibrosis in the portal area. Should I say what? Just only chronic hepatitis? باش اگر بلم chronic hepatitis يعني تنها liver parenchyma portal area سلامتها بلام ليرة portal area intact? No. قاعدة بلم شي chronic hepatocholangitis. Yeah, I'm chronic cholangiohepatitis. Why? Because there is an inflammation in both in the portal area and also in where? In the hepatic area. So, if it is a cancer, why we have an organized? Why we have an organized hepatocyte? Hepatocyte can organize it. Even we have what? The sinusoidal capillary region of them. Emotuanagan cancer, they say form one here. The hepatocyte should be proliferated and forming a tubular or trabecular, or sometimes forming a senile or pseudoplanate. Basha. Hamu o featurani benutin. Let's section here? No. There's only we have what? We have a fibrosis and inflammatory cell. Inside the portal area, inside what? The liver parenchyma. Catalanchi, chronic cholangiohepatitis. Yashwan benusin chronic hepatocholangitis. As you like. Chronic cholangiohepatitis. Do you remember the most causative agent for this case? When there is an extension of the inflammatory reaction from the hepatic parenchyma to the portal area. What about the causes? Yes. The viral infection. What else? Secondary bacterial infection, yes. So this is a chronic cholangiohepatitis. Okay. This section is taken from which organ? It's taken from the liver. More because we have a central vein and also we have a hepatic lobule. But be careful. Take a look for this section. What we have? All of the liver parenchyma is changed to the lobular or nodularity. What does mean by this? The liver parenchyma is showing the nodule. In the center of each nodule, we have a regenerative hepatocyte. So, but what about the surrounding of each nodule? Each nodule is surrounded by what? By a thick layer of the collagen fiber, capsule or fibrosis. So, أقدر دقت بينها همو section كبوبتشي nodule. In the center, we have a pale coloration of the hepatocyte. This pale coloration is a regenerative nodule. Degeneration near. We have a regenerative nodule. This regenerative nodule is surrounded by a thick layer of what? Of the fibrous connective tissue. Let's just see in the higher power. Okay, take a look. This is the center of the nodule, which are surrounded by what? By the capsule, even inflammatory cell. This is also, take a look. Large amount of the collagen fiber is a regenerative nodule. Who's clever and tell me? Here, what is the type of the regenerative lesion? كالي regeneration يعني reversible cell injury. Reversible cell injury, sublethal injury. يعني أما the do I remove causative agent? Here we have a cell swelling. All of the hepatocyte, it has what? The large diameter, large size, but with pale coloration. Still, the nucleus remains normal. What about the diagnosis for this section? أقل بيني بانزي فرقة همي بوبا nodule. Excellent. بلام أب nodule أنا شون دركون pale coloration in the center, which is regenerative, which are surrounded by the collagen fiber, very pale and cheap, which is an end-stage liver disease. Which one? Hamuya beba fibrosis. Kasere ken liver ka nodula. نۆدوڵەکان بەرزبوونەوەیان تایە لە ناوڕاست بەڵام لە چواردەی لە کۆمپرسن بۆ چکە فایبەرەکە بێت ڕووی ئەترۆفی. This section is a liver cirrhosis. Liver cirrhosis. So, liver cirrhosis. Be careful. Usually, we can identify the liver cirrhosis by what? By the nodularity in their structure. So, let's check this section also. What about here also? This section is taken from the liver, but actually it is a severe cases. What we have also? Pale, yes. This is also liver cirrhosis. Salam Ali, what's the difference between this section and previous one? Here, also we have what? We have a pale regenerative nodule, which are surrounded by what? Surrounded by the fibrosis. Agar diqqat be. Cow toe. All of the section is what? Is replaced by the nodule. Regenerative fibrotic. Regenerative fibrotic. This is called by the severe liver cirrhosis. Severe liver cirrhosis, in which all of the regenerative nodule also is surrounded or replaced by the fibrotic parenchyma. It is a stage, but we have a mild degree, a moderate, and also severe. Pusho, قبلت بسيكشن كيك بشو يلا شيء ما نبص يصلي. But let's to check here. What about here? So here we have what? We have a completely fibrotic parenchyma. And even in the liver parenchyma we have what? We have a necrosis. Show us any necrosis. Dark eosinophilic with small dark round nucleus. So we have what? We have a necrosis. Take a look in the high power. This is the high power. Where is the hepatocyte? Where is the sinusoidal capillary muscle? This is replaced by the fibrotic parenchyma. So this section is also what? The liver cirrhosis. Okay. What about this section? Can you recognize it or not? أما أم سكشنا لقصاب خانك خوما هنا أمي قربون لشي بيقول مانجير رجل منطقي بالدكتي أما هم بالدكتي ترى. But what happened to the bile duct? All the bile duct is replaced by what? Replaced by the fibrosis, completely fibrosis. Basha. Where is the portal vein? Where is the hepatic artery? Where is the bile duct? Nothing. All of them is what? Is replaced by the fibrosis. Let's to see the high power. Say it again, huh? Inflammatory cell fibrosis. Inflammatory cell fibrosis. We have a completely fibrosis. This section is taken from the bile duct. What about your diagnosis? Can I get bashikam necrosis? There is a coagulative necrosis. So, what about your diagnosis? If you found completely fibrosis of the portal area, it's called by what? Basha. The bile is a biliary. So should I say what? Biliary cirrhosis. Biliary cirrhosis. And Emma, liver cirrhosis, one of which one? Liver cirrhosis. There is what? There is a dark nodule, regenerative nodule, which are surrounded by the fibrosis. But I'm later fibrosis, the portal area. Whenever you found the fibrosis, it's called by what? Cirrhosis. Why it is called by the end stage? Because all of the parenchyma is replaced by the fiber. Hypothelial cirrhosis. Basha later the portal area, we should say biliary cirrhosis. Because all of the portal area or the bile duct is replaced by what? It is replaced by the fiber. So I should write down biliary cirrhosis. Oh, what about this organ? Let's just see. Which organ in the hepatobiliary system they have a foldy mucosa? Huh? Excellent. So the gallbladder, it has what? It has a foldy mucosa or finger-like projection. So this is a mucosal fold, and this section is taken from what? It's taken from the gallbladder. Let's just see what happened to the gallbladder. This is a lumen. Here is a lining epithelium. This is a lamina propria, and here is the submucosa. Where is the muscularis? Now, this is also submucosa because it contains the blood vessel. Here we have a submucosa which is contained inflammatory cell, and this is an adventitia. Okay, let's do check what we have. Now, do you remember the lining epithelium of the gallbladder? What about the lining epithelium? Yes? What about the lining epithelium? It's a non-ciliated simple columnar epithelium. Oh. Thus, the lining epithelium remain intact or is undergo sloughing. Intact يعني سلامتها. Sloughing يعني breaking down, detachment, folding. يبونوا. Okay. What happened to the lining epithelium? Yes? So what we have here, there is a sloughing of the lining epithelium. Sloughing do join there is a focal sloughing, there is a diffuse sloughing. What's the difference between the focal sloughing and diffuse? Yes. Calling focal يعني تنهاية بشرها remain localized. The focal it means remain localized. But what about diffuse? It means throughout the mucosa, throughout the length of the mucosa. But regime mucosa about here, so what we have, there is a focal sloughing of the lining epithelium. Now, what happened to the lamina propria? Take a look. There is what? There is an edema. There is a thickening of what? Of the lamina propria. So, why the lamina propria is undergo thickening? Because there is an accumulation of fluid. There's what power? There's an interstitial fluid. Basha. اگر نجزم edema گجبین چی ترمتهم؟ All of the blood vessel is what? Congested. All of the blood vessel engorged with the blood. همیشه لcongestion hyperemia حزل رفاقتی که edema. Edema, hyperemia. Edema, congestion. So there is a sloughing and there is a congested, engorged blood vessel. There is an infiltration, sorry, there is an interstitial edema. Now what about this? Let's do check in the high power. This is an engorged RBC. But what about what about this lesion? Yes? Hemorrhage. These are the free RBC, huh? Here RBC can now blood vessel. Alenchi congested. But here we have a hemorrhage. Why? Because the RBC found throughout the lamina propria. And take a look for this pinkish coloration. This pinkish coloration is not the fiber. It is the edema, the plasma protein. It is an interstitial fluid or the edema. Basha. What about your diagnosis? Agar bini one sloughing, congested, free RBC, legal cheatage. What about the inflammatory cell? Huh? What we have? Also, we have a congested. We have an edema. We have a congested. Here is a RBC. Let's just see. Does it is a chronic or acute? Acute. And a chronic blood vessel can engorgeable blood or not? Does we have an interstitial edema or not? Serictative cell huh? We have what? Neutrophil. Pathology. Acute. Acute what? The section is taken from the gallbladder. Katabiblumchi. Huh? Yeah. Cholangitis. Cholecystitis. Huh? There is a large amount of the plasma protein, edema. There is an engorgement of the blood vessels. There is an infiltration of the neutrophil, and also we have what? We have a sloughing. Catalan acute cholecystitis. Yes. Acute cholecystitis. Chole because it is a bowel, cystitis because we have a sac. Gallbladder. The last section what we have. كانت محاضرة ونبي طاقة منهم توزع حماسية كان So this section is taken from the liver, but let's see the section or abnormality. What happened? Can you recognize the hepatic lobule throughout the section? Can you recognize the hepatic lobule throughout this section, especially here? What happened? These are the hepatic parenchyma, but what happened to this? Okay. Hyperplasia. Let's see. This is a liver parenchyma. This section is taken from the liver parenchyma. Actually, all of the hepatocyte is undergo proliferation and forming what? Forming a trabecule, cord, tubule. These are the cord. Whoa, take a look. هل cord ده لچند پیگاتو یک دو سه لسیریس خانه پیگاتو بیتان چون توان trabecule چون جوسه به is formed by what? By 2 to 3 thickness cell layer. It's formed by 2 to 3 cell thickness or the cell layer. This cell, the hepatocyte, is undergo proliferation and forming this cord or trabecule. Huh? This trabecule or this cord is separated by what? By the vascular part. And there is a vascular space between each cord. So, if I move the section, also this is a stroma, which is composed of the connective tissue, and these are the cord. Let's do magnify it. What we have also. Thus, this cell is normal. Excellent. Hyperchromatism. Take a look for the shape of the cell. We have a different shape, Catalan shape, pleomorphism, hyperchromatism. Okay. Cheater. Take a look for this cell. Hyperchromatic. What about this one? This one, they have a triple mitotic figure. Triple, sebashi. They have what? Take a look. Yerichi mahe sebashi. Ama yek. Ama two. Ama sekwata chia. Abnormal mitotic figure. Actually, we have some. Let's do. Check it. Okay. Here also. Here also we have what? Abnormal mitotic figure. Abnormal mitotic figure. Take a look for the cord. The hepatocyte proliferated. The mass, or we can say that the hepatic mass, hepatocellular mass are forming what? Are forming the trabecular or cord-like structure. This is also pleomorphism, hyperchromatism. What else? This arrangement of the hepatocyte is considered as what? The loss of the polarity. There is a disorganized hepatic lobule. What is a lobule? Where is the central vein? Where is the portal area? Is replaced by the proliferated cell. So what about your diagnosis? Should I say hepatocellular adenoma or hepatocellular carcinoma? Which one? So, چند كسل adenoma? بوشي adenoma Yes. أو mitotic figure كباس بانكر. أي loosey polarity كها باشا تلبكان. استيقظ أم section تام بيشان بدري أزان نو hepatocyte. Can you recognize it is a hepatocyte? Of course not. يعني شيء. It's not well differentiated. I cannot recognize it. Actually, I'm a stagey cell hepatocellular carcinoma. Stagey cell hepatocellular carcinoma. So, so it is a hepatocellular carcinoma. تلبكان تا إيرا بسبو أمرو لسلايد كان